Hey folks, good morning, afternoon and evening.
Good morning, good afternoon, good time of your day.
Let me try and share the agenda on the screen. We're probably waiting for a few more AC members. So give it a minute or two before getting started. If you've got any topics that you want to bring up, then please feel free to add stuff to the agenda. I've just seen that Greg is not able to join today. I'm a little bit short AC members, but I guess we can get started and see if the others can join. So I'm just going to review previous meetings actions. So Buildico to send a post out about the two-factor authentication, which has been done. I think it went on mailing list and Slack, if I recall correctly.
Yes, I sent it to both places.
And I think the plan is from Monday next week to turn the setting on, and then
Yes, I have a reminder set in my calendar for Monday morning, US West Coast time to do it.
brilliant. Cool. Thank you. I said I'd chat to Fabiano about the TDX stability. So I did. He added a second attestation machine, and it's been pretty good. I've not noticed it being offline. We had some issues around test setup, but it seems to be going okay. So I think we're good there. Greg has mentioned that he hasn't created a doc yet, so we will carry forward on that one. I don't know who added the Cocoa non-T tests, but we have not had good reliability. So we had a whole bunch of problems related that people might have seen related to the AKS clusters. Looks like there was some change on the Azure side at the weekend, which meant that our clusters, lots of our clusters were failing. We're hitting throttling limits. We got a rerun code in yesterday, so it should be resolved now. But yeah, we've got a bunch of failures, and we also had one test failure in the policy test, which we flagged up, and I think Saul has been asked to take a look at that. So I think we're probably going to have to wait another week to see if we can get a bit more stability, because things have gone in the opposite direction, unfortunately, from that point of view. So yeah, I think that's it on the previous minutes. So I guess looks like we've got Robertson, folks from CSV Technology. So you guys wanted to introduce yourself. So yeah, welcome aboard. And do you want to share a screen or anything like that, or just happy to chat?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah. or I could hear you. I don't know if you still.
I will share the PowerPoint.
Okay. Yep, I can see
Can you see the
slide.
PowerPoint?
Yes, I can. Thanks.
Oh, hello everyone. I'm Robinson, and next I'll be joining Thomas and Dean to introduce the CSV confidential container. This introduction will be divided into 3 parts. Firstly, Robinson will give a brief overview of CSV technology. Secondly, Thomas will provide an introduction to GPU. And finally, Dean will briefly introduce the work and plans for supporting CSV confidential containers in the Kata Containers repository. Next, I'll be sharing my presentation on Introduction to CSV Technology. CSV is a technology of TEE, primarily implemented through virtualization. The CSV virtual machine achieves confidentiality and integrated protection through secure memory. In CSV technology, secure memory broadly refers to the memory belonging to the CSV virtual machine, including the private pages of the virtual machine's memory, nested page tables, virtual machine control blocks, and the register states of the virtual machine. The confidentiality protection of CSV is mainly manifested in the fact that software offset a CSV virtual machine when attempting to read the secure memory of a CSV virtual machine can only obtain bytes with a value of 0xFF. The integrated protection of CSV is mainly manifested in the fact that when software offset a CSV virtual machine attempts to write data to the secure memory of a CSV virtual machine, the CPU will discard the write request. Next, let me introduce the principle of attestation in CSV technology. The CSV virtual machine obtains attestation report through secure call command. Inside the CSV virtual machine, the attester sends an L-control request through the device node dev CSV guest. The CSV virtual machine's kernel executes the secure call command, which triggers a secure call event to the KVM. KVM subsequently notifies the security co-processor of the secure call event. Finally, the secure processor writes the generated attestation report into the attestation buffer. Lastly, let me briefly introduce the contents of the launch method for the CSV virtual machine. For the CSV virtual machine, it measures the address space information of OVMF, the OVMF itself, the address space information of the hash table, the hash table, which includes hash of the virtual machine's kernel, initial, and the command line. The index information of the virtual CPUs and the register states of the vCPUs. That concludes my presentation. Thank you all for your attention.
Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas. I'd like to introduce GPGPU pass-through to TEE container technology. What's GPGPU? GPGPU means general purpose computing on graphic processing unit. It refers to practice of using a graphic processing unit to perform graphical computations. Its software stack is compatible with CUDA ecosystem, which makes it easy to run almost all existing applications without any modification. This framework is our is a core part of our framework. The left part is guest is a TEE. It includes CPU domain and hardware domain. The hardware domain includes our GPU, and TEE includes an extracted execute environment. Our goal is to pass through the GPU to guest container. In our implementations, we compile the GPU driver into Linux kernel in guest, and the software is mounted from host volume. The GPU device is passed through to guest via a plugin called VFL device plugin. This plugin manages GPUs. In this slide, it shows the GPU driver is compiled in rootfs image, and QEMU boot guest kernel. When the guest boots down, the GPU driver module is installed by setting the kernel module parameters in configure tom file. For example, in the tom file, there is a parameters like kernel modules. We pass the GPU to the modules parameter. This slide shows how the VFL device plugin working. The picture in the left part includes two parts. The left is VFL device plugin, and the right part is kubelet. There is a config file shows at the right part. It includes two parts. The first part is the first part, for example, at the upper side, it creates a configure map in kubelet. The main point is the resource name. In this example, it's GPU K100. The downside is VMware create demo set. Its name is VFL device plugin. The last slide is how to mount host volume to guest. In our implementations, GPU drivers and the dynamic files is located in host. In order to save the size of the container size, we would pass through the volume from host to the container. And there are other available methods to implement it. The first is we can integrate it in rootfs, and the second is we can install it in the container itself. And the last is the new method provided by Coco. It's CDI. Its name is the Container Device Interface. It's easy to use, and it addresses a lot of pins of GPU pass through to Kata containers. Okay, thanks very much.
Hello everyone, I'm Dean. Next, I will introduce CSV Kata support. The following is introduce the changes required to support CSV on Kata, which are mainly divided into 5 parts. First, we need to add C86 chip window ID. The internal implement is to add a window ID support in entire Go CPU ID related components. R1 is preferable to add a window ID support to the above components. If the first solution doesn't work, is it feasible to separate the related code and implement it independently? The two is GPU related modifier. We add GPU window ID. The previous internal implementation is reused the radius code. We want to extract some common logic and share it among all GPUs. Two is we will add GPU's configuration files. Choose we want to know is it feasible, and is how to use GPU's driver. The current usage is to compile driver queue into rootfs in smooth queue before running agent. Put the software stack on the host and mount it into the container. The best solution is to use CDI technology. We want to discuss how to use the driver and the feasibility of CDI technology. Last is we will add dependently repo. The community mainline color cumulative indicator and other components do not fully support CSV. So we need to use the components of the open Arnis community. The corresponding components are as follows. The GTE is cloud color, GTE is QM, GTE Arnis indicator. We want to know is the plane feasible. CSV add new CSV related feature. We add a circulate CSV long to digest interface function to circulate the setup digest of Kata CSV VM. To add the optional feature of SID reviewed. So support the specification the basically modern of Kata CSV VM. We want to know is it feasible for a newly added interface to share SEV class. If not, can a related class be implemented independently? In addition to added structured field and field information provided in a source code, configure operation to be added in a configuration term. One is CPU modem, used to circulate the CSV Kata virtual machine digest. The two is memory encrypt the user ID supports the SRD reduced feature. 3 is supported circulation and CSV confidential virtual machine. Startup digest is also planned to be integrated into a CSV open source repo. For example, CSV RS or WebECS is it feasible? We will add the CSV related configuration file. One is add a proposed configuration file template for supporting CSV, such as configuration QEMU CSV tone. 2 is modify makefile to control the generator of corresponding proposed configuration file for C86 window. 3 is add a code config file that complies to support the CSV. We want to know is it feasible. Our roadmap is about July 2025. We want to complete the feasibility assessment of project. In March 2025, the CSV Kata Containers can run with the latest code. June 2025, GPU can be used normally on the CSV Kata. Also, we want to know how to test the CI. How to test the CI. Our plan is the host can be provided in our computer room, and the community can access it for testing. But how the community access the test will need to be discussed. Our show is ending. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the presentation. So I guess what you're looking for, or maybe I'll ask, is what you're looking for some answers to some of those questions on the roadmap, or are you just after kind of general suggestions and impressions at this point? What's the desired outcome you're looking for from today's call? Or is it just to give us a heads up that you have this plan and you'll be creating issues related to it?
Wait, hello.
Hey.
We want to contribute the CSV support to the Kata Containers repository.
Yeah. So yeah, I understand the overall plan you mentioned by June, but what would you like help for today? Do you want us to suggest a path forward, or do you want answers to some of these questions, or a review of the options you've spoken about?
Steve, this is Qifeng. Hi, friends from Haiguang. This is Qifeng from Jingdong. Yeah, maybe before the friend from Haigang answer the questions, let me emphasize that the requirement from our side to Haigang and the CSV, we are starting the evaluation of the COCO within our company very seriously, starting from AMD, and CSV definitely will be our very important architecture next step. I guess the friend from Haigang need to some suggestions maybe today, and to maybe solid plan for the next step. Also, actually, I'm also working with the friend from Haigang to enable it, to help to enable it in the Kata and Coco community. Maybe Steve, if you have any suggestions that maybe it's very welcome to give us maybe.
Okay, cool. Cool, thanks, Chief. Thanks. So, yeah, so I guess kind of what you're looking at bringing is support for HighGond's CSV at a similar level as we have support for the other TEs. So, AMD, SCV, TDX, etc. So I guess that's the end goal you're looking for, is kind of an equivalence. So that stuff that works on features in TDX and that integration with the Kata and Coco communities has the same roughly the same support for CSV. Is that fair statement of your kind of your end goal?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Robson and Dan, are you okay if we create an issue just as what Steve suggested in the community, either Kata, either Coco? Maybe Kata is the right place, right? I think.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely some stuff that we can probably share from what we've learned with work with the other CSVs, and I'm guessing I won't put too much on the spot, but Swanko's probably got some thoughts and stuff around the GPU integration, I would guess. But yeah, I think going forward, the approach that you've mentioned about needing a non-upstream version of the kernel, we had that for the other TEs. We had experimental versions of the kernel that were pulled in, having a separate config file for your settings. We have that for the other TEs at the moment. QEMU, we used to have an experimental version of QEMU and OVMF for either SEV or SMP, one of those. So that general approach that you're talking about is from a experimental. Obviously, we'd love everything to be upstream, but it matches a pattern that we have used in the past. So I don't think there's too much in there that I would say, oh no, that's not possible. I think there are obviously some questions. We have, you mentioned adding a host. So the AMD and Intel folks add, and IBM add self-hosted runners, which run the CI. Which again, that pattern could map across. I guess one of the things that we, as the architecture committee, would maybe have concerns around or would be looking for is about the kind of ongoing support and contribution to the community, because we have had cases in the past where people want to support new hardware platforms or new hypervisors and stuff, and they come in, give a bunch of code over, and then aren't necessarily active in maintaining them and stuff like that. And we don't want to bring things on which could have a negative effect on other parts of the community and cause problems with our CI and stuff. So we have not, I don't know if checks and balances is the right term, but there is obviously something we have to work out. Are we happy with this approach going forwards? Getting the right people from a maintainability point of view, if you've got self-hosted runners that run on your system, understanding how reliable they will be, who will be looking after the machine, and that CI is something we would want to address before we merged a whole load of code and made it core to Kata. But as a kind of general principle, I think what you mentioned does line up with the approach that we took with the other TEs. So there's not too much which strikes me as a massive red flag at the moment. But I'll let some of the other AC members share if they've got any thoughts and opinions at this point too.
Technically, as you already said, Steve, we have the infrastructure to support all the asks that Hygon and CSV folks have, right? As you said, we have all the building blocks for another OVMF, another QEMU, another KVM, even guest kernels or host kernels, etc. So this should be fine. On the GPU side, a lot of the stuff that you mentioned is already kind of solved, so we need to sync up on that. For accelerators in general, independent who provides the GPU, we have a lot of dependencies still open in the kubelet, in the runtimes, and most of the stuff is in the Go runtime. So I want to raise one thing: is where are you going to put the support for CSV? So this is mostly for the AC and the other members. Should we concentrate on adding CSV Hygon support only in runtime RS and do not concentrate on the Go runtime? For all things GPU, accelerators, PCI topology, and stuff like that. So Alex here on the call as well has helped a lot, and he knows the internals, so he can also help out on that. I have an issue especially for the NVIDIA GPUs on the confidential containers, so I can also provide you information on that, because it has a lot of patches and enhancements that we need for any accelerator that we are putting in a TE. And I saw some things on your slides that we need to discuss how to do it in Kata, like the mount software from the host into the VM, which is kind of a deal breaker for the confidential containers use case, because we do not trust the host, and you are introducing things from the host into the CVM. So we can sync up on that. Let's sync up on that. As I said before, we have the infrastructure to support all of this. One question would be, should we solely concentrate on runtime RS for CSV Hygon integration?
Yeah, I think that is a great question. My default reaction would be yes, we want to pursue runtime RS first. The caveat and the bit I struggle with is at the last VPTG, we had some conversations with, well, I was going to say the Cocoa community, but it was Tobin that came across and kind of made the request that hardware vendors helped support the transition to add TE support to runtime RS. And there was, I'll say, lukewarm response. So I think it would be amazing if Hygon could go for runtime RS first. I don't know how much of a deal breaker it would be if that's not possible, but yeah. And I don't know if there's an opportunity for collaboration because I'm guessing that some of the kind of fundamentals of TE support on x86 would be shared across TDX, SEV as well, maybe CCA, as the ARM folks are showing a lot more interest in getting involved. So I wonder if there is an approach where if there's lots more people, we could help to push in the right direction from runtime RS. It's kind of my immediate. But yeah, I don't have a super clear answer, but I think, yeah, ideally it would be a runtime RS first approach, but we obviously don't want to push Hygon down into runtime RS and then the rest of the Cocoa community go, well, we're not interested in that, we're not going to support it. But yeah, so I guess that's where stuff you mentioned around accelerator enhancements and things, if they're all available in runtime RS, then that removes another obstacle as well, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, maybe also unconsciously, I was thinking if they're fixing all the things for their GPU pass-through, it will be fixed for myself as well. So, and I know that Alex has done a lot of stuff to get all the things already working in runtime RS for the for NVGPU. And I talked to him about, you know, we need to extend all the PCI detection that we have to other vendors. But now we have the prime example to do that properly. Now that we have another vendor coming in and requesting this, so this is a nice opportunity to get it right in the runtime RS. I've always seen the Go runtime as a playground where we implement things and then see what's not that nice and just re-implement it correctly in runtime RS. But since we've done all the major work in runtime RS for the NVGPU, I think it would be a nice playground for the Hygon CSV folks to get all the stuff there. We shouldn't have to do much of this. Yeah, as a side note, the only thing, Alex, we would need to port from the Go runtime that I need is the IO MMU FD support. I need a Go runtime for internal projects, so that's why I put it first there. But for all things related to pass-through, we should stick to the new kernel or look forward to have IO MMU FD support rolled out into runtime RS as well. It's a new feature since kernel 6.4, but since most of the TEs need 6.11 as the host, we should be good on that side. Okay, this is a mental note for myself and to get this in runtime RS as well. Okay, but yeah, let's sync up on all the things. And I think we can easily support Hygon and CSV on all things related to that with the infrastructure that we already built and created.
Another thing I spotted in the presentation is I think you using 9p. Was that for the mounting of the GPU software stack, or was it for something else? Because we are planning to deprecate 9p pretty soon. So I think I saw it on one of the slides. There was 9pfs. Yep. So we might need to work out if there's an alternative there.
Yeah, in the confidential containers case, we don't have even, we need NIDAS, right? So
yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you, Steve, and Zhongok. We will check it that we can remove. If we talk with Hygon guys, we can remove the 9pfs. And maybe I want to ask another question. What do you think the better or is a good approach for us, maybe Hygon together with Jingdong to do it in Kata community? For example, are you okay to create a branch just like Coco several years ago did to do the end-to-end use case and separate PRs to mode for the features separately? Are you okay with that? Or do you have any other suggestions on the approach?
So my initial reaction is probably a separate branch is not ideal. Yeah, we did a lot of things wrong with Coco and CCV0. It was originally just supposed to be a kind of a 3-month lived branch to test stuff out, and it took over 3 years for us to get rid of it and merge it. So probably not a great place to start. I think my initial thoughts are just kind of maybe go. Obviously, you can get stuff working in forks as you please, but in terms of merging, you can go kind of component by component. So go right. We need support for CSV compatible experimental kernel. Let's get that so it is the Kata CI is capable of building that. Then we need support for experimental QEMU and OVMF. get those pieces in, then get the configurations that map to those in and pieces like that, because that's at least means that from a PR review point of view, they're kind of small, self-contained, and then we can kind of bring it together integration-wise at the end. So I think that would be my initial response, but yeah, interested in the thoughts of the other AC members of people on the community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no feature branch. Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, strongly approve what you just said, Steve.
Yeah, no end-to-end feature branch, and then as Steve said, edit component by component, right? Add OVMF, add QEMU, add the kernel, add the configuration. Now add the runtime class. Now we have components that we can deploy. Add the CI/CD runner. See that if everything builds, if this builds, add test cases to it. So step by step, incremental, and all the components that you add should be like self-contained and not depend on others, so that we can test it independently. So yeah, also saying hard no to a feature branch, but edit as a component by component.
Yeah. Thank you to good suggestions.
Cool. I appreciate we've got some other topics to go through, but yeah, I guess maybe as mentioned, a good next step might be to create an issue. It can be one big kind of overarching issue with the presentation, some of the questions in, and then we can kind of break that out into separate sub issues and questions, but try and capture yeah, your potential roadmap based on the stuff we've talked to you about, component rollout, when CI might need to come in place, yeah, and those sort of steps. So we understand what the plan of dropping things are, what is your questions that you need to answer. Obviously, we've tried to answer some of them on this call, but having stuff offline probably makes sense, and then we can kind of revisit, see where we are in that process. So is that okay to Chief and the Hygon team?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm okay. Thank you, Steve, and the Robertson and others.
Cool. And yeah, and thanks for sharing. And I think if I remember correctly, CSV is going to be talked about on the Coco call straight after this as well. So yeah, might be another good chance to learn a bit more about that.
One question would be any plans to support peer pods with Hygon and CSV?
Or I guess Chiefing definitely knows what that means. I'm not sure if the other folks do. So that's yeah, a remote hypervisor rather than a bare metal local hypervisor. So yeah, I don't know if JD are interested in that or just bare metal at the moment.
Yeah, currently JD is focusing on the bare metal case, but I can contribute my efforts, maybe some efforts on the people support, if Hygon CSV want to do that and want my help. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm just asking because we are adding currently a lot of support for GPUs there as well, and I will keep you guys in mind. But anyway, I'm building this anyway in a hindsight to support any GPU, but I just want to make sure that we are not missing out anything. But okay, I will put this on hold for now, but keep an eye out.
Cool. Any last questions and comments on this topic before we move on? Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing, and hopefully you've got we've been able to point you at least in a helpful direction. Right, I need to find my screen again to share. Apologies. So next topic. Oh, yeah, we might have to race through them. So Aurelian, you've got the next. I guess maybe it's a call to action question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if anyone on this call or if we knew anyone in the community that has experience with NFS, because we have a potential customer that's been trying out Kata with FS and with NFS, and that has been working out for them. And so the interesting thing is that if they do the NFS mount inside the guest, that works for them, they can see in the logs that so sorry, the difference between doing the NFS mount in the guest and in the host is that from the perspective of the guest, when you do the mount in the host and share that file system with FS, apparently in the NFS logs, the credentials are not being passed directly or properly. So I'm thinking it's some issue in the FS layer, but I don't really have experience with NFS, so I can't really offer much advice there. So yeah, I just wanted to know if anyone here or in the community had any experience with this. I guess not.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's worth posting in Slack. See if anyone who's not able to
Yeah,
make it
yeah,
on the
we
school.
posted a few weeks ago, but no one replied really. So I guess we don't really have much experience with this.
I think you're gonna be pioneer for that.
Yeah, unfortunately for me. But no, that sounds good. I just wanted to raise this and see if it would bite, but not my lucky day.
Okay, cool. So the next topic is from me is just a bit of a heads up. So just for awareness, our GitHub introduced GitHub hosted ARM64 runners. I guess it was last week now. There's they don't have KVM support, but we can use them for builders. So we have moved over to adopt them. So we now will have on our standard build asset payloads, which is mostly what we have from an ARM64 point of view. Now these are running on the GitHub hosted runners. So Zvonko and Anastasios played the long game long enough that they don't have to solve the cleanup problems for the ARM64 builds because we've got GitHub hosted support, but that's really good news just because it means obviously the less stuff we do on self-hosted runners, the more reliable it is. On that, I noticed that our static checks are not on the ARM builders, they're on the different set of Equinix builders. So I've created a PR to try moving those across as well. So still in testing in draft, but hopefully we can get that across. And then that means that our current ARM runners are a lot more freed up. So we can hopefully start thinking about using them for some proper CI testing and stuff rather than them being fill up with doing ARM builds. So yeah, that's good news. So just wanted to share that for awareness of people. Okay,
Yep.
so
Yeah, use the free runners for building,
Yep.
and the bare metal machines for testing.
Yep. Cool. Ruching, did you want to add oh, this PR? Is it just for awareness? Or did you want to discuss it?
Oh, actually, I don't think there is anything more to be discussed. And this PR has got approvals. I think that's enough because it has experienced two flakes due to the create AKS cluster step, but now we have some kind of sorted out, and I gather from the report of the CI test, this PR has got all the required test passing. So I wonder what's the next step of getting this PR through.
Yep.
Should I do something to speed it up or something? That's
No,
it.
so yeah, so I think from my point of view, we were just, as you know, we had some static check problems, which I think was a GitHub issue, and then we were hitting the AKS. And thank you for your help in supporting getting that through. So I think, yeah, from my point of view, I was just waiting to get those required tests passing. Yeah, just for people's note, the current ARM static checks we have been failing for quite a while on the Equinix runner. So that might be something
Okay.
that we have to deal with when we move over to the new runner. But yeah, these are expected failures, or they're common failures. I guess the SMP one might be something we need to understand, but I don't think it's super stable. So I'll try rerunning this test, but I don't think there's a significant any significant blockers to get it
I
through.
recollect this test is the I remember someone mentioned it, let's say, or like some kind of policy failure, that kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's policy job bats test, then yeah, that's also known elsewhere. So I don't think it's related to this anyway. But yeah, I expect we should be able to get this merged. I don't think there's any more requirements we need from you. But thanks for reminding. Yeah, when Fabiano and I did the reviews, obviously we had to get the tests going through first, so that's why. But I've re-reviewed and gone over a few things since they've been updated. But yeah, it looks like it's going all right. So
Okay.
we should be okay.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Okay.
But thanks for the reminder. Okay, I guess these are just the standard, or is there a new PR made it on the list? Did you add this one as well?
Yeah.
Routing?
I did mention this refactoring like a month ago, but I haven't get any feedback on this topic. I just observed the other Rust components like runtime RS, and they are set up with a workspace. So I wonder if we can do the same for Dragon Ball target. How do I call that? A sub repo, that kind of thing. So if we can have this change, that would be much easier for us for the Dragon Ball maintainers to maintain workspace level dependencies. They won't so I would like to have some feedback on this PR, and so
cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think that in general, I think it makes sense. I don't know, Fupan's not on the call. I don't know if Fupan or Alex or anyone else who's a bit closer has got any comments. But yeah, I'd probably say if you ping out on maybe the Runtime RS channel in Slack might be the best one to ask people for feedback on. I don't think we've got a Dragon Ball specific channel, but that might be the best place. I don't know if there's anyone else on the call who's particularly close to Dragon Ball development.
Yes. I'm asking this because I am and I'm trying to support Dragon Ball on RISC-V architecture, and the RISC-V work is based on this PR. If we cannot get this merged first, there will be a lot of conflicts because this PR actually moved reorganized the file tree. So okay.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, but yeah, as you say, it's moving the file tree is going to be a reasonably going to require some syncing up. So yeah, that's why we just need to make sure that anyone
Okay.
who's working on active Dragon Ball stuff is aware of that and is happy with this approach or lining up the timing of that. So yeah, I think probably Runtime RS channel is the best place, but I don't know if anyone else has got any other suggestions.
Okay, noted. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. No worries. Okay, so I'll just separate that out just so, oh, sorry. Oh, start that. Okay, cool. Nearly at the end, but any other last minute topics or questions anyone wants to discuss this week? Okay, it doesn't sound like it. So guess just remains to say thanks for joining. Thanks for the presentation and the kind of questions and comments. Really interesting, and we'll obviously be more in touch going forward with this. But yeah, I'll probably see quite a few of you on the Cocoa call up next, or otherwise in a Kata Slack channel or this call. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, folks.
Thanks, Steve.
Talk to you guys soon.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.